Everyone, let us all welcome Mr. Joseph Villaflor.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Ayan. Oh, sorry. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Again, I am Joseph Villaflor, and I am the National Youth Desk Officer of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And I am very much happy that I am here with you this afternoon. So, okay, let's start the presentation. Mhm. There you go. So again, I am Joseph, and I am the NYDO of the department. And this afternoon, I will be discussing about environmental leadership. Okay, so um, while we are, while we are about to start our discussion, now, what about we have a mini exercise? No, kahit wala akong extra fries, but I have a mini exercise for all of us this afternoon. And what I want you to do is in our, I'm sorry, in our comment box in Facebook, um, you may, okay, you may write your ideas uh, about environmental leadership on the comment box. Okay, is that fine with you? Um, when you hear environmental leadership, ano yung unang pumapasok sa isip niyo? Ano yung sentence or phrase na naiisip niyo kapag narinig niyo yung environmental leadership? So, what I want you to do is to put it in the comment box and babasahin natin yung mamaya. Okay. So, let's start by defining environmentalism. Okay, so I am sorry. I'm having a hard time. Okay. Okay. So, environmentalism, this is a definition provided by the Green Education Philippines. For them, environmentalism is a different way of thinking in which people try to care more about the planet and the long-term survival of life on Earth. It means recognizing the planet's environmental problems and coming up with solutions individually and collectively that try to put them right. Okay, so that's a very nice definition of environmentalism, isn't it? Kasi nabanggit niya dun lahat eh. Different way of thinking, caring, and then coming up with the solution. So, himay-himayin natin yung definition niya. Okay, so environmentalism is a different way of thinking. Diba? Pag naririnig natin yung green-minded ka, usually naiisip natin kapag green-minded yung tao ay bastos, ganun agad yung naiisip natin. Pero being a green-minded person, it's actually thinking about the environment. Okay? That you have the interest on learning more about the environment. That's being green-minded. Hindi yung pagiging bastos or whatsoever, diba? Okay. Sorry, I'm having a hard time sa ng presentation. Anyway, here you go. There. So when you're an environmentalist, you have the awareness kasi you want to learn about the environment. You want to learn about biodiversity. You want to learn about how and why we should address environmental issues right now. So when you are an environmentalist, you are also aware of what is happening to your society, to what is happening to your community. Okay, let's move on to care. An environmentalist care for the environment. So when you are caring for the environment, you have the green heart. Okay? Kanina meron tayong green mind. Ngayon naman meron tayong green heart. Kasi hindi lang enough na meron tayong knowledge about our environment or the environmental issues that we are facing right now. Kailangan meron tayong dedication and passion of learning about these environmental issues. No? Kasi kung wala tayong puso sa ginagawa natin, mahihirapan tayo. Mahirapan tayong makirelate sa mga tao, mahirapan tayong makirelate doon sa community who are experiencing environmental degradation. So kailangan ng puso at isip sa pagiging environmentalist. And finally, we want to come up with solutions. No? So we have the green hands. Okay? So hindi enough na meron lang tayong knowledge at hindi enough na meron lang tayong puso when it comes to environmental issues. We have to have action. We have to take action and we have to come up with a solution. Kasi na-identify na natin yung mga problema na kinakaharap natin. Ngayon, kailangan na natin gumawa ng aksyon para masolusyonan yung ating problema. So we have the green hands and we have to take action on these issues. Okay? So as an environmentalist, we have these three: being green-minded, having green heart, and having the green hands. Kasi hindi enough na green-minded ka lang or you just have the green heart or the green hands. Hindi pwedeng pipili ka lang dyan eh. Like, pipili ako. Gusto ko lang maging green-minded, so I'm already an environmentalist. Hindi pwedeng ganun. Okay? So, it's a combination of the three. Being green-minded, having green heart, and having green hands, and taking action to address these issues. So, the chunk of our discussion for this afternoon will be about environmental leadership. So kanina, I asked you to put your ideas about environmental leadership through our comment box in Facebook. And I hope as we go through the discussion, this discussion will strengthen or will maintain kung ano man yung idea natin tungkol sa environmental leadership. Okay? Okay. So in a book, in an article written by Dr. Never Kachaturian, it was entitled Emphasizing the Role of Environmental Leaders. He defined environmental leadership as advocating, supporting all kinds of environmentally action-oriented movements to protect land, aquatic systems, fauna, flora, and etc. So ang key word natin dito is to advocate and support and all kinds of environmentally action-oriented. You will be called an environmental leader if you advocate and you support these environmentally action-oriented movements, no, that will protect our environment and natural resources. Kasi hindi enough na puro lang tayo kunyari, we support this, we support that, pero wala naman tayong action na ginagawa. No? So, to identify and to para ma-strengthen yung pagiging environmental leader natin, we should advocate this environmentally action-oriented advocacies, okay? Second, an environmental leader should have to make a socio-economic system more harmonious with the environment through ecologically clean technologies, eco-products, and environmentally friendly services. So, let's tackle socio-economic system. Kasi minsan, iniisip natin na we just live our lives, human beings live their lives, and they don't need to care about the environment kasi na ano naman na tawag dito na nare-replenish naman yung resources natin. Pero hindi. Yung social and economic system or status of our country, dapat ay maging harmonious tayo with the environment. Hindi dapat natin ina-abuse kung ano yung meron tayong resources that we get from the environment. Kasi environment sustain the lives of the people, sustain the lives of the human beings. Okay? So, an environmental leader will advocate this by advocating ecologically clean technologies. Ito yung mga technology na hindi nakakasira sa environment, hindi nakaka-pollute sa ating air, sa water, no? So an environmental leader should support these, or yeah, support these, as well as eco products. 'Di ba meron tayo ngayon mga for example, shampoo. We have ngayon meron tayong shampoo na bottled. Pero meron naman tayong alternative. We have the shampoo bar, 'di ba? One of examples of eco products that we could advocate, no? And finally, environmentally friendly services. Ano nga ba yung mga, for example, we should be advocating the use of bicycles instead of motor vehicles, 'di ba? To para mabawasan yung air pollution lalo na sa mga urban areas. Okay. Third, according to Dr. Kachaturian, an environmental leader should be able to raise environmental awareness of the public by spreading and supporting the implementation of environmental education programs and the application of environmental laws. Okay, if you are an environmental leader, and I encourage you to be one, no, we should be able to raise awareness on environmental issues sa ating public, no? That's in our department, that's what we're doing. We conduct information and education and communication campaigns to raise awareness sa mga tao kung ano yung environmental issues, lalo na dun sa mga far-flung communities. We conduct dalaw turo, no? And also, as an environmental leader, kailangan nating mag-spread and support doon sa implementation ng environmental education. Sobrang importante na sinusuportahan natin yung environmental education, lalo na sa ating mga kabataan, kasi tayo yung talagang apektado ng environmental problems right now, and tayo rin yung nag-inherit nung kumbaga pinagdaanan ng panahon ng mga parents natin or mga kapatid natin. And finally, we should support and comply with the environmental laws. That's what we're doing in our department, na sobra talagang we are implementing yung mandates na environmental laws sa ating bansa. Okay. And according to Dr. Kachatarian, the more of our population is informed, the less pollution and environmental damages we will have. Kasi kapag alam na ng tao na this will cause pala pollution or environmental damage, iiwasan niya na yon. Okay? So, importante talaga na we raise awareness, lalo na doon sa importance ng immediate solutions doon sa environmental problems, as what we've discussed a while ago with environmentalism, no? And if people are aware about environmental problems, they also feel empowered and inspired para i-prevent yung these kinds of damages to the environment. Okay? So, in the country, medyo yung ating political leaders, no, lalo na sa national and sa local level, kailangan natin ng political leaders who have track records of environmental advocacy, no? Their platforms and their governance. We need more who will reverse environmental degradation, destruction, and will rehabilitate and protect the environment. Okay? Those are what we need right now, our environmental leaders. So, you guys, my dear SSG leaders, my dear advisors in the SSG, what makes you an environmental leader? Okay? So, ano nga ba yung qualities ng isang leader? Okay. So, in the book of Norman Christensen, entitled Environmental Leadership Equals Essential Leadership, he has these 4 ingredients for environmental leadership. Okay, kumbaga, kung nagluluto ka ng spaghetti, you have these ingredients, and then well made perfect, no? Masarap yung maging kalabasan ng ating pasta. Sa environmental leadership, meron din tayong 4 ingredients para mas maging masarap yung pagiging environmental leader mo. Okay, so we have 4: the boundaries, priorities, uncertainties, and action. Let's start with boundaries. So, as an environmental leader should assess the extent of a challenge by the space and the temporal scale or the time of a physical or biological process, as well as its cultural, social, and institutional elements. Kapag ikaw isang environmental leader at, for example, in a city or in a municipality, magpapaputol ka ng mga puno at sa isang community kung saan may mga nakatirang indigenous peoples, communities who have been there for so long, gusto mo ipaputol yung mga puno doon. Pero kailangan mong isipin, are you still within the boundary of being an environmental leader? Is it okay to do this? Wala ka bang masasagasaan? Kasi as an environmental leader, your communication, your understanding and collaboration with diverse disciplines and traditions should be on point. No? Kasi as an environmental leader, hindi pwedeng nagko-cross tayo ng boundaries. Kung sa relasyon nga meron pa rin tayong privacy, meron pa rin tayong boundaries with our partners, ganun din, mas lalo na kapag sa mga communities na sinasakupan ng ating political leaders. We should know our boundaries in doing our activities. And that's one of the 4 ingredients of being an effective environmental leader. Second is we should have priorities. No, as an environmental leader, you should set clear priorities among the needs and demands. Kasi right now there are so many environmental issues that we are facing in the country right now. So hindi naman ibig sabihin na we set our priority na with isasantabi natin yung ibang issue. We just need to choose kung ano yung pinaka-immediate na kailangan nating i-address. And then andun pa rin yung ibang environmental issues na kailangan nating i-address. Lalo na, we should focus kung ano yung kailangang issue na i-address sa locality natin. Okay? So, as an environmental leader, kailangan ma-set mo yung clear priorities mo para ma-address yung needs and demands ng issue na yun. Third is uncertainties. So, environmental leaders must constantly act in the context of uncertainty and change. We cannot take away the fact that uncertainties are still, it happens. No? Lalo na sa major challenges na kinakarap ng ating political leaders or ng ating environmental leaders, hindi natin maiiwasan na meron tayong uncertainties na kakaharapin. And as an environmental leader, you should be able to work on it, to act on it in a positive way. Hindi dapat tayo nagpapadala sa mga uncertainty na ito. Lalo na, change is inevitable. Change is constant. No? So as an environmental leader, you should be ready for these uncertainties, lalo na sa major challenges. And finally, yung bubuo sa ating 4 na ingredient para mabuo yung ating environmental leader is you should be able to take action. No? And in order to take action, you should have a clear vision and goals, as well as models that connect the action that drives challenges. If we have goals in life, for example lang, meron tayong goal na gustong marating sa buhay natin. Kailangan meron tayong vision. This is what I want to be in 10 years. And these are the things that I will do. Okay, so we have the methods, we have the mechanisms kung paano natin i-achieve yun. So that's also the same with being an environmental leader. No? If you want to address this issue at hand, kailangan meron kang clear vision kung bakit kailangan natin itong ma-address ngayon. Ano yung goals natin? Let's i-bullet natin yun. And then let's have our methods, let's have our models kung paano magiging systemic yung pag-address natin doon sa issue na yun. Okay? And this should drive change. This should drive positive change. This should have impact to our society and to our environment. And what does it take to be an environmental leader? Kanina alam na natin yung ingredient na bumubuo sa isang environmental leader. Ngayon naman, gusto naman natin malaman kung ano yung elements. If you're already an environmental leader, what makes you an effective environmental leader. So what does it take to be an environmental leader? Okay. So the elements of an environmental leader are strong motivation, expertise, and leadership. Let's start with strong motivation. So as an environmental leader, you should have clear understanding of the urgency of the current state of sustainability and action. Okay, so by the way, these elements are based from the Ministry of Environment of Japan. So what this is what they want to advocate, kumbaga, na i-embody ng isang environmental leader, na embody nyo as environmental leader at your own respect. Okay, so as an environmental leader, uh, we should be willing to act for environmental protection at an urgent time. Kasi, as I've mentioned kanina, there are environmental issues na kailangan nating ina-address immediately. Na hindi natin kailangan, na hindi pwedeng, hindi, kaya natin yan. Siguro after 10 years na lang natin i-address yan. No. So, as an environmental leader, we should have this kind of urgency in us na we have to address this issue right away. No? And we have the ability to assess yung long-term and short-term na needs natin, which is related then sa strong motivation of being an environmental leader. Okay? So we should have a clear understanding of how urgent a specific environmental issue is. Okay? So being strongly motivated by these issues, we should be willing to understand relationship among the environment, the economy that we have right now or that we have in a locality, for example, and the social dimensions, the social structure, the organizations living in a community. Dapat meron tayong harmonious relationship. We should be able to understand this, to be able to identify the issues and identify the solutions. Second is, we should have the expertise, of course, no? We should have the abilities and knowledge which are essential for dealing with environmental issues and be able to identify problems so that possible solutions can be proposed. That's proposed, I'm sorry. So, as students, you guys, we can be expert about environmental education. I mean, environmental issues if we educate ourselves, if we attend fora like this, if we attend lectures about the environment. No, that's how we make ourselves expert about the environment, and that's one element of being an environmental leader. You should know what you are dealing about, no? That you know about the environmental issues to be able to identify the problems and the possible solution na pwede nating magamit. Okay, and I know that you guys are very active. Also, we have the internet, which could help us to know to learn more about the environment. No, it's just one click away. And lalo na ngayong pandemic, there are a lot of lectures that are launched by different organizations that pwede nating salihan para mas madagdagan yung skills and knowledge natin on the environment and environmental protection. And finally, the most important element of being an environmental leader is the exemplifying leadership. Okay? So, meron ka ng motivation, strong motivation, meron ka ng expertise. Ngayon naman, you are being a leader to a group. Kasi you are doing this not just for yourself. You are doing this for a collective group. So as a leader, as an environmental leader, you should be able to transfer the knowledge, the information, and technology to solve environmental problems. Kasi kung hindi mo naman ito masishare sa ibang tao, ano pat pinag-aralan mo, ano pat meron kang motivation to address these issues, mas maganda na mai-share natin sa ating mga kapwa para mai-share din ng ating napag-share ng ating ideas. And that's what make us a good leader, a good environmental leader. Also, there are leadership abilities that we have to exemplify. First is to capture the multifaceted, holistic environment and economic and social aspects as what I've discussed a while ago. So, kailangan mas holistic yung approach natin when we talk about environment, no? Discuss natin yung economic uh, aspect, yung socio-political, and then yung environment itself. Second is we should organize a more novel or more a new perspective kung paano natin i-address yung environmental issues. Kasi naniniwala ako na kayo bilang mga kabataan ay sobrang dami yung fresh na idea na pwede natin gamitin to address these environmental issues. Also, we should collaborate with the stakeholders. We have the indigenous peoples, we have the non-government organizations. We should collaborate with them to know what their take about our steps on addressing environmental issues. Okay? So, importante na meron ding ibang boses aside from our voices para mas maging well-rounded yung ating magiging solution sa isang issue. And finally, we should, as a leader, in a group, we should reach a collective decision, using in consensus building. Kasi kapag tayo lang ang puro decide, that's being authoritative. Ayaw naman natin na dinidismiss yung ating opinion, 'di ba? Na if you think this move will not be good for the environment, then you should speak up, no? So a good leader should reach a collective decision, no, na meron tayong consensus. So those are the three elements of an environmental leader. Let's look at this the figure. So the strong motivation that you have as an environmental leader will help you to proactively create sustainable society. Kasi nga, you are motivated to do these things. And then, that will affect your expertise. You will use your expertise to contribute to the creation of a sustainable society. And you should understand the relationship among the environment, the economic, and the social dimensions. Okay? And then, your leadership skills, your leadership aspect, and having noble perspective, having new perspective of environmental protection, being able to coordinate with the different stakeholders in our community, and making a collective decision with consensus will make us an effective environmental leader. Okay? So, as katulad ng nasabi ko kanina sa environmentalism, hindi pwedeng isa lang sa mga element na ito ang pipiliin natin, hindi ganon. It should be a combination of everything to make us an effective leader, to make us an effective thought leader, no? Para sundin tayo ng ating subordinates. Kailangan natin to in order to have effective solutions for our problems, for the environmental issues that we are facing. Okay, I know some of you are aware of this photo. Okay? Sige, mag-exercise ulit tayo. Gamitin natin yung ating comment box. Sino or anong movie ito? Itong meme na nasa natin, anong movie ito? From what movie is this? Okay, just put it in your in the comment box. Okay? So, okay. So, what we see here is there's an older person sa taas na part, and sa lower part naman, sa baba, yung mas bata. And sabi ng matanda is, you will never be enough. And the response of the younger person is, okay, boomer. So, we've been hearing this line for so long. Kasi, palagi tayong tinatag as bilang ako, that ako naman ay miyembro pa naman ng millennials because I was born in 97, and I know some of you are in Gen Z. palaging dinidismiss yung galing natin bilang millennials and Gen Zs just because we are young, no? Na we can't do anything daw. We can't be as effective as we think we could kasi bata tayo. Which I think tinatawanan na lang natin as Gen Zs and millennials kasi alam naman natin sa sarili natin na we can do what they think we can't. No? So, ang response lang sa atin, natin sa kanila ay, okay, boomer. Diba? Pang-inis lang. Kasi, it's been, palagi tayong dina-downplay eh. No? I've attended nga this certain talk. Actually, dalawa kasi yung talk ko for that day, morning session and then afternoon session. So, in between my talks, merong siguro nasa 40s na resource speaker. At ang audience nun ay mga youth din, katulad nyo, mga kabataan. Tapos sobrang dinidikdik niya yung Gen Zs and millennials that we are parang masyado tayong entitled, we are brats. And to know that the audience are part of these generations, medyo natawa na lang ako noon. Tapos nung afternoon session ko, sabi ko, I beg to disagree with what the person said, with our resource speaker said. Kasi really, like we can do so much as youth, as the new generations. Okay, so right now, we are going to discuss naman how engaged nga ba are the youth on addressing environmental issues? Kasi, sige, sabi ng mga matatanda, wala naman tayong kayang gawin eh. Papatunayan ba natin sa kanila na tayo ay talagang brats, tayo ay entitled, tayo ay walang ginawa, kundi lang mag-ML o mag-Facebook or mag-social media? So, right now, malalaman natin kung gaano ba talaga tayo ka-engaged as a sector in addressing environmental issues. So, the Philippines, like other countries, has seen a rise in the number of people concerned who want to protect the environment. Okay, so in a survey conducted, in a survey conducted by the NERV, they are a data analytics company in the Philippines. They have big clients here, and they conducted this certain survey wherein they found out that there are 4 common types of individuals interested in caring for the environment. These are the young advocates. This one, the young advocates, they are at 30.7%. The established, the responsible consumer at second, 30.6%. And then the young and most unaware at 30.1%. Okay, that's 30.1%. And finally, the responsible homemaker, which is at 8.6%. Okay, so these are our 4 categories or groups na lumabas doon sa survey ng the NERV. Okay, so let's talk about the young and most unaware. So, as suggested by its name, the young and most unaware, these are the younger individuals, no, that generally don't know what to do in order to help take care of the environment. As in, wala silang ka-idea kung paano sila makakatulong sa environment. So, what they will do is just, surf the internet, play online games, and they do not make time to learn about environmental issues and how they will help addressing these issues. Okay, so and if we're going back, look, they're at 30.1%, just 0.6% behind nung young advocates. 'Di ba? Sobrang laking chunk nitong young and most unaware. Okay? Ito yung mas mga bata sa atin na mga youth. Would you believe? Second is the established. These are the responsible consumers. Ito yung mga these are the working people. Okay? So responsible consumers carry out various practices and are the most financially equipped to help. So ito yung mga gumagawa ng zero waste living, nagpa-practice ng mga ganon. They buy their, yung shampoo nga na bar soaps, bar shampoos, mga ganon. They do it individually. They do it on their own, and they believe that they are doing their part as you know, uh, tumutulong para i-conserve and protect si Mother Earth. That's how they see it as help, but it's more of a individual na contribution. And third one, ito yung gustong-gusto natin. And I am very happy that it's still the biggest chunk ng ating group at 30.7. These are the young advocates. Okay? So these are individuals who really adopt different environmental practices into their everyday routines. Ito talaga yung mga dedicated talaga na uh, uh, pina-practice talaga yung mga natutunan nila with their past interactions with other advocates din, no? Ito yung interesado na maging parte ng environmental organizations and promote the importance of various advocates. Ito talaga yung sobrang active na mga uh, bata, ng mga kabataan. Ito yung gusto natin na makita sa ating youth sector ngayon. Okay? And finally, we have the responsible homemakers. Ito naman yung, they are the mostly married or they have children and do not have the time to dedicate environmental practices. So for convenience, they'll just do their part, their contribution, kung ano yung kaya nilang gawin doon sa kanilang households. Okay? So oops, sorry. So what do you want to do is that, of course, we want to educate this group of people, the young and the most unaware. Okay? We want to educate them, to let them know that environmental issues are really happening, that it affects anyone. It doesn't spare anyone. Okay? We have to let them know about this because it's not yet too late. Okay? We can still, sabi nga nila, kaya pa natin silang ihamig to join us in the campaign of saving Mother Earth. Okay? So, and they're mostly in the social media right now or in online gaming. So, we could use the social media platform to educate and to encourage these children, these young people. Okay? Since they are there, they dedicate most of their time on social media. We could do our education, raising awareness there. And also, we want to encourage the established and responsible consumer to be part of our campaign, no? To be more collective in terms of making contribution in saving our environment. Okay, to not be more individualistic and be more collective in terms of thinking about how we help the environment and the mother. So kapag nahamig natin yung young and most unaware and the established and responsible consumer, magiging 90% na. 91% yung advocates of environmental problems and addressing these environmental problems. Okay, so because of the pandemic, because of what's happening, we've been locked down for so long. Tayo yung may pinakamahabang lockdown in the whole world, di ba? And aside from the stress that this global pandemic is giving us, meron pa tayong online classes. Some of you might be on online classes or modular, di ba? And some of us are working from home and working on-site. Sobrang stressful na nangyayari sa bansa, sa mundo natin ngayon. At patong-patong yung stress na nararamdaman natin. Pero alam mo yun? Akala ko si Miley Cyrus. It's not Miley Cyrus pala. I don't know who she is. Pwede kayo mag-comment sa comment box kung sino to. I don't know who she is. It's either it's either Miley Cyrus or Demi Lovato. It's a combination of two. Anyway, with all the stress that we are experiencing, that we're having right now due to the pandemic, due to the online classes, or due to our work, my advice is laban lang tayo, friend. Laban lang tayo, no? we should be motivated, no, for our environment, in protection of our environment, because there's no planet B, there's only planet A, and that's Earth. Okay, so you, my dear Filipino student leaders, what we want to you to be is to be Filipino environmental leaders, not only Filipino student leaders. Okay, and I know you are thinking, how do we start? How do we become environmental leaders? As kami naman ay isang hamak na ano lang naman, SSG leaders or SSG officers or SSG members. Ako pala, dati din akong SSG president, so I can relate with you. No, it's really hard to do these things, lalo na kung meron ka pang other extracurricular activities. But we can make it work. Okay? So what's the first step that you can do is to conduct environmental education. Okay? So environmental education is uh, it's a process. So hindi siya isang bagsakan lang na kapag nagturo ka okay na 'yon, no? It's a process. So meron series of actions or steps that allows individuals to explore environmental issues, no? Para malaman ng ating public or natin as environmental leaders kung ano yung environmental issues na kinakaharap ng bansa natin. To be able to be part of problem solving and to be to take action, as what I've said a while ago. So that's how we do environmental education. We talk about the environmental issues, we explore it, okay? We engage ourselves in problem solving, and we take action. And the result of environmental education is we have deeper understanding. Okay? Kasi I know that you already have ideas about the environment, about our environmental issues. I know that. But through environmental education, we will have deeper understanding of our environmental issues. Okay? It's a continuous process eh, yung environmental education. Hindi siya one time, big time. Kumbaga. We will also have the skills, no? To make solutions dito sa problems natin. And us in the youth desk in DNR, we engage with schools and youth organizations to intensify the values on environmental protection. That's what we do in environmental education. No, I know in Region 6 in Iloilo that we have a regional desk office, so you can coordinate with them to conduct environmental education. Just tap them. Okay, so in the research paper of entitled Involvement of Filipino Student Leaders on Environment Related Programs, Projects, and Activities, it was authored by Redentor Palencia. It was published in just 2019, just last year. He assessed the level of the involvement of the student leaders, okay, so the student leaders in their university, in the promotion of environmental education and protection. So these are heads of organizations in the university. Okay. So in his study, he said that student leadership through student organizations is an effective tool in promoting environmental education and protection, provided that they will be given strong support. Tama ba ako o mali? I mean, tama ba si Palencia? Kasi I strongly agree with this statement, no? That student leaders, and when they are members of student organizations, most especially of the Supreme Student Government, for example, it's an effective tool. It's an effective way for us to promote environmental education and protection. Kasi meron na tayong platform eh. Meron na tayong influence doon sa ating nasasakupan, sa ating subordinates, or sa ating mga kaklase, sa ating schoolmates. As long as we will be provided with the given strong support. And I know our SSG advisors who are listening to us or are watching us right now, I know you are very much dedicated to supporting our students. I know that because my student SSG advisor back in high school was so much supportive and sobrang dedicated niya sa organization, but uh, that will be more effective. I mean, the support that you give to us, our dear SSG advisors, it will be more effective if the administration of the school will give strong support, especially in the funding of our activities, di ba? Kasi nahihirapan tayo as an organization to raise funds for our activities. We have a lot of activities that we want to pursue, but we need the support of our administration and the funding. Okay, let's look at the results of the research conducted by Palencia. In Table 1, it says the student leaders' level of involvement in the different environment-related program projects and activities. So the most, kumbaga, may pinakamaraming activities na ginawa ng student leaders ay tree planting and drive, which is at the number 2. Pangalawa ang waste management. Pangatlo ang cleanup drive. See, these are activities that students in high schools or in schools could launch, no? And if we have support from the administration, it can be more sustainable. Okay, it can be more effective. Kasi tingnan mo, meron tayong tree planting and drive. Okay, that addresses the denudation of our forest. We have clean up drive, nakakapag support tayo sa solid waste management, sa clean water, kasi meron tayong mga waterways na merong mga basura, and through clean up drives ay of the youth of the student organizations in schools ano natin, na-address natin yung issue na yan. Also, waste management. Meron tayong, di ba, usually, yung project natin sa school, yung project namin sa school noon is the trash bins, no? The color-coded trash bins. The yellow, the green, the blue, the red. Di ba? That helps. That helps in the solid waste management issue of our country. Di ba? That our department is also very serious on addressing. And the low extent are the environment and conservation fundraising. See, hindi masyado natututukan. Also, the community service. But student leaders, as I was saying, are potential partners of the educational institution in promotion of environmental education and protection. They are very much willing to be part of environmental education and protection. But aside from the support, the funding that we need as student leaders, as green leaders in our schools, we also need, ano to medyo hinighlight ko. We have to have our knowledge, skills, and dynamism be enhanced. Kasi I know you guys are already knowledgeable about environmental issues. You already have the skills, and you already are dynamic. But in order for us to be more effective environment leaders, we have to gain more knowledge. We have to enhance our knowledge. Hindi pwedeng kung ano yung nalaman natin last year, yun lang yung gagamitin natin for the succeeding years. Hindi ganun. We continuously improve ourselves, gain knowledge, gain skills, and be more dynamic. Okay, so we discussed the table 2. This is the attitude of the student leaders in the study towards promoting environmental protection. And the highest tawag dito, response na nagkaroon ay, as a student leader, it's in number 3. As a student leader, I have my role in environmental education and protection. See, the student leaders see themselves as someone who has a role in environmental education and protection. And that's parang surprising na nakikita natin yung student leaders natin na hindi lang sila student leaders who na nagpapatupad ng mga student-related policies ng administration. They also see themselves as having the role of protecting and educating the people about the environment. See, kaya maganda na yung ating student leaders ay nabibigyan ng platforms to conduct environmental protection and education activities, di ba? Second to that is, as an officer of the student organization, conducting community campaign for environmental protection is necessary. Look at that. Our student leaders that have been respondents to this research, hindi lang sila naka-stick doon sa schools nila. Di lang sila nearsighted na dapat dapat pinagsisilbihan ko lang yung aking schoolmates, yung student tree, but student leaders, I know like you guys, nakikita natin beyond the walls of our schools, beyond the walls of our classrooms. We see that we have the responsibility to do community campaign, to involve, to relate with our communities, to relate with other organizations within our community, within our city and municipality about environmental protection. And they see it as necessary. See, if all of us, if all you guys who are members of student leader organizations will be given the opportunity to do these environmental protection awareness and education campaigns, I know you all, we will have a society, a country full of active student leaders turned environmental leaders. Diba? Hindi ba masaya makita na yung ating mga student leaders are not just, hindi lang nag-aaral, hindi lang nagsiserve dun sa student tree, kundi also serving for the Mother Earth, also serving for our planet. Diba? And napakagandang result na lumabas doon sa research. And sabi nga ni Palencia, the higher the awareness of the students about the environment, the higher yung kanilang environmental attitude na pinapakita. See, those respondents, they are aware of our environment and they are more interested about doing these campaigns. That's why very important that we educate our public, that we raise awareness about the environment. Kasi mas naapektuhan yung yung attitude natin towards protecting and conserving our environment. Mas nai-engage tayo, mas nai-encourage tayo to be part of the campaign, to be part of the solution. Okay, and finally for the table 3, however, we are very dynamic. We want to help the environment. We want to do these activities to help Mother Earth, to save Mother Earth. But these are the problems that we encounter in implementing our PPAs. First, the highest is limited organization fund, as what I've mentioning a while ago. Kasi we are mere student organizations. Okay, and what we do is to raise funds, to solicit from the people we know, or shell out our own money to conduct our activities and projects. See? Second is, yung major talaga is the funding. We need the funding. Okay? And second is, there's no sustainability of the different environmental related activities. Why? Because we will go back to limited organization fund. We can sustain our activity because we have this limited fund. Okay? So they go hand in hand. And, the Filipino youth should be involved in green initiatives. Okay? Because we comprise 30% of our country's population. Would you believe? 30% tayo ng 100 million. That's 30 million of Filipino youth. And kapag tayo ay naging collective yung ating voice, magkakaroon tayo ng collective na solution sa ating mga problema, sa ating environmental issues. Also, we are vulnerable to environmental degradation and disasters. Okay, we are young. Aside from the Philippines is talagang tinatamaan ng mga bagyo, ng mga earthquake, we are very vulnerable dahil we are part of the youth sector. Okay? Third is, namamana natin yung responsibility of taking care of the environment from the past generations. So dahil tayo yung most active, pinakabata, na namamana natin yung responsibilidad na yon, na we should be taking care of the environment, di ba? And we we embrace that responsibility. We want that responsibility. Okay? Next is we have high intellectual capacity for green initiatives. I believe in you guys. I know all of you are very creative, are very imaginative, are very intellectual, not only in green initiatives, but I know that we can use this knowledge, we can use this brilliance in making green initiatives. I know that you can do that. And finally, we have the strong ability to mobilize. We have strong, sobrang natin active natin, sobrang taas ng energy natin. We have huge influence with our friends. Okay? So these are the reasons why the Filipino youth has to be involved in the uh, green initiatives and projects in our country. And us in the department, as the National Youth Desk Officer, these are our 3-point agenda. So first, we empower our youth desk. We have the regional youth desks nationwide by providing them capacity building activities. This is how we create and we mold our own environmental leaders in our department. Okay? We designate the regional youth desk officers and we provide capacity building activities for them. Okay? Second is we mobilize the youth sector, including you guys, to engage yourselves in youth-led environmental initiatives of our department. We want you guys to be part of our campaign because there are a lot of activities and projects in our department, I'm sorry, that cater to the youth sector. We want you to be included in these campaigns because we know that you have the ability, you have the brains, you have the heart, okay? And we want you to be involved. And finally, the most important is the sustainability of these environment related programs and projects through information, education, and communication campaigns. Okay? So, para mas maging effective yung ating campaign, yung ating activity, we have to sustain it. Okay? Hindi pwedeng, yun nga, although mahirap yung sustenance ng ating activities, we should strive for sustainability. Okay? And let's start it by strengthening our IEC campaigns, by raising awareness to our public. And before I end this talk, I want to share with you. This is our winning entry during the 2030 Youth Force Philippines SDG Bayanihan Summit 2020, which happened in October 24. The awarding was in October 24. And we thought of a campaign kung paano i-encourage yung mga kabataan to register and to vote in the May 2022 elections. Okay? So bilang kami ay galing sa DNR, we just don't want to educate them na how to vote, how to register. We want them to register and to vote for the environmental leaders. Okay? We want our youth sector to think that when they vote, kailangan piliin ko yung environmental leader. Kailangan piliin ko yung merong environmental advocacy and platforms. No, that's what we want with this proposal that won during the SDG Bayanihan Summit, and we presented in several events. Okay, so let me show it to you, and that's me presenting. Okay. I'm gonna share. So, magsasawa kayo sa boses ko kasi ako ulit yung magpe-present doon. Application. How do we do this? Oops. Okay. Share. There you go. Okay. Hello. Ayan.
For that. And as you can see, we have an opportunity to rise and grow as a nation by really looking at what the different SDG pillars can do for our country. As you've seen in all of the project pitches thus far, they were actually all able to blend the different themes within separate, supposedly SDG pillars, always talking about people and bringing in it in the planet perspective as well as the prosperity vantage point. And all of these things can also be advocated for possibly by our next presenter to highlight the SDG pillar for peace. And that project is entitled hashtag One Vote Counts.
In a world where there are volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, one question arises. Hanggang saan naabot ang isang boto mo? Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Villaflor from the Green-Minded Voters of the Peace Pillar, and I will be discussing the hashtag One Vote Counts. The Philippines has rich biodiversity and natural resources. However, with the impact brought about by climate change and rampant environmental degradation, the need for public servants who are environmental advocates is a top priority. One Vote Counts is a campaign that aims to emphasize to the youth the huge role of elected officials, both national and local, could play in initiating plans, projects, and policies that will protect and conserve the environment and natural resources. Local and national elections are an integral part of this global push towards a better environment and better future. In One Vote Counts campaign, we are encouraging Filipino youth to exercise their rights, equip them with knowledge to be able to participate in the policymaking process, and protect the environment at the same time. We believe that if we choose the right leaders to lead the country and be part of nation building, this will surely contribute to Sustainable Development Goal 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. Considering this will result to guaranteeing election integrity and trust and ensuring responsive, inclusive, participatory, and representative decision making at all levels, aligning with the mandate of the DNR to educate and mobilize our citizenry in protecting and conserving the environment. We shall implement the campaign through providing environmental education. As such, this also supports the SDGs 13, 14, and 15. The youth sector, ages 18 to 35, comprised more than half of the voters during the 2019 midterm elections. This just shows that the force of the youth could affect the political status quo. For this campaign, we will target the in-school youth, out-of-school youth, young professionals, SK leaders, those who belong to the marginalized sectors, the indigenous peoples, persons with disabilities, and the youth in conflict areas. By the end of this campaign, we envision to have educated 100% of our target youth on the status of the country's environment and natural resources, environmental initiatives of the national and local government units, and the importance of voting for the right leaders. We also envision that we assist 75% of youth served in the actual voter registration process through the DNR Regional Youth Desk offices and its bureaus and attached agencies. And most importantly, we want to see change and we want to see at least 60% of the youth served voted for environmental advocate leaders in the May 2022 and subsequent elections. And this will be implemented through the conduct of educational drives, including school caravan, information drive, lakbay aral, production of educational materials including advocacy videos, news articles, IEC materials, social media cards, and we also provide assistance during the voter registration and voting process. And to make this happen with or without the presence of COVID-19, this will be our proposed timeline. For the first quarter 2021, we will conduct brainstorming and planning with the youth desk officers and youth coordinators to develop success indicators and communication campaign plan. We will also conduct social investigation, voter mapping, audience analysis to identify the immediate needs that have to be addressed and to gauge the voting behavior of our youth sector. For the second and the third quarter of 2021, we will strengthen the voter education drive through the DNR regional office. We will also conduct voter registration caravan in local communities in collaboration with COMELEC regional offices to bring the actual voting registration to the far-flung and rural communities. And for the last week of September 2020, we will conduct a one-week extensive campaign on voter registration. For September 2021 to April 2022, we want to persuade the youth to choose the leaders who are environmental advocates through environment and climate action lecture series and by mobilizing the Green Brigades in our barangays. And for the May 2022 elections, we will be launching online voter tracking platform to track the registered voters who successfully voted. And in order to track the increase of number of voters and to measure the effectiveness of our campaign, we will have post-assessment on voter turnout of youth sector by June 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, environmental degradation and climate change negligence affect industries that sustain the lives of human beings. And we want to convey the message to each and everyone that election shall serve as an avenue where people can choose their leaders who address environmental issues. In order to achieve greener Philippines, we need to choose green leaders, one vote at a time. In hashtag one vote counts, you are not just only voting, but you are improving the quality of life of the present and future generations. This campaign is brought to you by Vanessa Bal, Catherine Gonzaga, Jem Tanyag, Vermont Timbas, Melvin Soriano, and yours truly. Thank you very much and good afternoon.
Congratulations to all of the SDG pillar winners. Thank you for all of your projects. Thank you for giving us a chance to get to know them better. And kudos in advance as you continue to make all of these ideas flourish moving forward and always for the global goals. As we've always mentioned, the youth are done waiting for the world to change and the world is now waiting for the youth to change it. I now turn you back over to Alex.
Ayan. Thank you so much again.
Okay, so I'm gonna share this one. Oh, anyway, so that was my presentation for this afternoon, and there you go. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Daghang salamat sa ating mga participants for this afternoon. And if you have any questions or concerns to the NYD office of the DNR, just you may email us at youthdesk@dnr.gov.ph or you may contact me. Thank you so much, everyone, and may we be all environmental leaders. Thank you.